All right.
And I tell
So,
them, and I think I shouldn't be telling them.
yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about strategies for inviting tonight. Sorry, I'm just saying this for the recording. But we're going to talk specifically about like some of the things that I do to invite. Number one, the first thing that you have to be doing consistently is posting. You have to be consistently posting on social media and building relationships specifically with the people who are following you on social media, but also with people that you're finding and adding to your network on Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media following you're using. But the video that I shared in the team page last week where I talked about like my monthly strategies, that kind of thing, I talked about my weekly posting schedule basically. And so every Sunday night I do a coach opportunity post. And Mondays I usually do some kind of a motivational quote or talk about like never miss a Monday. Tuesdays is either a recipe and a transformation or both. And it could be like a internal transformation, like mentally, emotionally, or a physical transformation. Like I think last week I finished Quarter Force, so I shared my results from Quarter Force. Wednesday is usually like a workout video of some kind. And then I also have like what to wear Wednesday. So like I show what I'm wearing that day, just like things that make me, that I identify with. I like cute clothes. And so I'll share once a week what my outfit is, sometimes more than that. Sorry, I'm looking over here. So Thursday is a throwback, or Friday could be the flashback, and Thursday could just be like a tip for drinking water or why you love Shakeology or, things like that. Just things that they're getting a little bit of a sprinkle in there every single day, but they're not overwhelming and constant. Like, here's Shakeology, here's Quarter Force, here's Hammer and Chisel, here's my sweaty selfie, like all of this stuff that like after a while people just don't want to follow us with that.
Yeah.
Saturdays, I usually show that I'm doing my workout on the weekends because that's when a lot of people just tune out and they just go like, nope, not doing that. So based on those posts, so like for instance, my Sunday business opportunity post from last night, I would go in today or tomorrow, usually today. I would go in today or tomorrow and I would message all of the people who are not coaches already from that post and just ask them, since my coach opportunity post was geared more towards like accountability yesterday, then it would be something along the lines of like, hey girl, thanks so much for, your love on my page today. I totally appreciate your support of what I do as a health and fitness coach from home. Have you ever wondered like how I make money? Or have you ever wondered what it's like to work from home? Or have you ever wanted to work from home and like have a business, but you just didn't really know where to start? Or have you, are you on a health journey or do you want to be? Sometimes I like phrase it that way. And then I'll just put one question in there. Usually it'll either be about coaching or it'll be about like joining a challenge group. Initially it needs to mostly just be about like your health journey and things like that. And so your coaching post should be geared more towards, this is helping me stay accountable to my goals because, so the posts that I do then, or the invites that I'm sending, they're just planting seeds. And so like I might get a response back from 1 out of 10 people. And that's like good, but obviously like I could follow up with a few of the people that I really felt like maybe from seeing their page on Facebook or Instagram or interacting with them before, I know that they would really benefit from something like with a challenge group or with coaching. But for the most part, like especially on Instagram when I'm just messaging strangers, unless I see that they're liking my posts over and over and over and over again, I'm not going to like go back and like, hey, did you see my message? Like, I just wanted to bug you again. Like, I'm not going to like keep messaging them all the time. If I go back every now and then and I see that they haven't seen a message on my Instagram or they haven't seen it on Facebook, then I might drop a comment on their page and say, hey, not sure if you noticed it, but I sent you a message the other day. Just wanted to let you know. Hope you're having a great day. They may or may not still respond. But if they never see it, that usually just means they don't know how to find it.
Right.
So based on that, though, I have conversations that I'm starting, and they're strategic conversations that are they've already gone from liking my post to now we're talking specifically about what I want to talk about. Like we're talking about the business opportunity or we're talking about a challenge group. And so I'm going to give you like an example of, I'll give you an example of a conversation that I have on Instagram right now. Okay. Trying to find a girl who, okay. Sorry. Okay, so I sent a message to a girl that I knew back in college. And I just said, thanks so much for your encouragement on my postpartum journey post. It means so much to have kindness and encouragement from other inspiring women. It's been ages since I've seen you. Your wedding pics are darling. That was like just a personal note because I actually do know her. And then I said, are you on a health journey too at the moment, or do you want to be? I hope you're having a great day. And then she actually, I could see that she didn't see the message, so I commented and said, hey, not sure if you saw it, but I sent you a message. And then I also sent a follow-up message and said, I wanted to just check in and see if you got my message. I hope it didn't totally like bother you or anything like that. I didn't mean for it to at all. And she said, hey, sorry I haven't responded. School's been crazy. I'm trying to slowly get back into shape. My main problem is that I just don't have a whole lot of time. And so when I do, I just do a quick run with my dog whenever I can. I would totally be interested in joining a program after May when I have more time to dedicate. So she pretty much just shut the conversation down and said like, nope, I don't think I have enough time. So
Right.
I countered that with a question. I just said, how much time do you think you usually have? I do 10 minutes of a workout when I'm in a rush. I put a little note in there about like working out is great. Feels so good mentally, but if you're in a huge rush daily, then you need something to rely on food-wise to keep you going through the day. So I'm like alluding to Shakeology, but I haven't come out and said it. And then I just said, but back to like your time for the day, do you feel like you have 30 minutes a day that's being used, say, by Netflix or random Facebook scrolling? Haha. Like just trying to help her see that there's time in the day. She just maybe doesn't see it yet. She
Right.
hasn't responded yet. So tomorrow I'll probably follow up with her and ask another question. Ask if she saw the message, see if I can get the conversation going again. If she just still is very like, no, I don't really want to talk about this right now, then I'll say, okay, it's not for everybody. It's totally fine. So like, that's the thing is that if they tell you they don't think they can do it, or I don't think I can afford it, I don't think I have enough time, and they keep coming back with that objection, one of the strategies that I've been learning about and using is that you can then take that away and tell them like, it's totally fine. Like, it's not a big deal. It's not something that's for everybody. And when you tell them that, then suddenly it's like the carrot's been dangling and now you take the carrot away and they're like, wait a minute, I did really want that. So then they'll either keep talking or they'll come back later.
Okay.
So that's just one example. I'm going to find another one that I feel like was really good. Okay, this one was a better one. This is a lady on Instagram who she messaged me out of the blue. Actually, I messaged her and I said like just some stuff about like, thanks for your love on my post. Would you be up? And I like just went straight to the invite here. Would you be up for learning more about how you could join in and do a health challenge in February? I would absolutely love to support you on your own health journey and whatever goals you have. Personal notes in there about her family pictures and things like that. And then she just commented back, I would love to learn more. You have a beautiful family too. And so she said, okay, so then I asked her, I said, I'd love to know more about your story. Like, I want to know what's your journey postpartum with your kids been like. And she kind of just gave me the story, told her how she's busy. She's got ups and downs. She has coffee and more coffee and some water most days. And she might have a small lunch, small dinner. Like, she's giving me specifics about her day. And then she told me, I used to do Herbalife. I felt super happy and energized. I'm thinking of ordering my Herbalife to help me out again. And so then I just talked to her and told her a little bit about the Beachbody On Demand. Like I just said, would you be up for learning about a year-long digital gym access with hundreds of different programs and meal guides per program, as well as a daily meal replacement called Shakeology? There's a really amazing deal happening right now where you can do the year-long access and get Shakeology for 25% off. And then after that, she had a few busy days. And then she said, I need to figure out how your product works. I know Herbalife and I know that I lost weight fast. And then I said, like, here, what's an email, or do you have a Facebook? Something about like that. And do you have a Facebook somewhere where I can talk to you a little bit more? And then I responded to her like, I lost weight fast with this. And I said, there's really good things and bad things to all the programs and systems out there, but diets don't work. So if you lose 20 pounds in a month, it's not healthy and your body's going to fight it. So like, I'm just kind of helping her, like giving her a little bit of like information, but I'm not giving her tons of information. I told her my results with the 21-day fix for the first round, like the very first time I ever did it. I said I lost 8 pounds, 9.5 inches. I didn't, other times, I didn't lose a whole lot of weight, but I lost inches and I dropped sizes. And then I just said that this lifestyle that I live and that I do with Beachbody programs is one of the healthiest ways to create a lifestyle you can maintain long term. Then she gave me her email and I sent her a few videos with information. And from there, she's been dealing with sick kids, and I told her I'd check in with her later this week. But if someone just comes to you after you've invited them or after they have approached you about a post or you approach them about a post, and they come to you and say, just right off the bat, how much does it cost? If you've talked to them in the past and you already have like a background on them, then telling them right then and there about the price is fine. But if you don't know their background, you don't know their story, you don't know their goals, you don't know what their daily fitness routine looks like right now, or what their daily eating habits are, then all you have to say to counter back is, hold on. So how much does it cost? Then you can tell them, well, the price depends on the program and on the program that best fits your needs. Can I ask you a few questions to help you, to help me figure out what would be the best fit for you? Because I don't want you to go into this and then fail because you start with something that's not the right fit. Something like that. Something that lets you know, hey, I really do, I will tell you, I am going to tell you what the price is, but right now it's more important to me that I understand your story. You know what I mean? It's more important to me that I know where you are as a person versus what your checkbook looks like.
Okay.
After you've been talking and you ask questions, that's the biggest thing, is that instead of giving them information, I heard somewhere it was a national wake-up call, I think last week, that I can't remember her name, Bonnie Engelson maybe. She basically talked about how if you're responding to someone and you've asked them a question and then they ask you a question back, if your response is longer than 2 or 3 sentences, which I'm guilty of all the time, but if your response generally is longer than 2 to 3 sentences or a short paragraph, you're giving them too much information. And so one of the ways around that is you can do a voice message, and voice messages on Facebook are super handy because you can duplicate an invitation like that, which I'll talk about in a minute. But voice messages can help clarify things and make it a little bit easier for them to understand and they'll also hear the passion for things in your voice, and it's more fun to hear what a person actually sounds like. With Instagram, that's not really possible. So just giving them short questions to answer and then countering with another question or a follow-up, here's some information about what I've done that I think might help you. Let's move on to the next question. If you don't want to go back and forth with everyone that you're talking to, then ask them hey, I really want to help you find the best fit for a program and a nutrition guide, and I want to get you started off the best way possible. Would you mind filling out this survey? And it, a questionnaire that has all of the questions you would ask them to go back and forth, but they just fill it out all at once. Then that's a point that you can respond back and say, hey, I got your email. I wanted to ask you another question about this, or I wanted to ask and clarify this. And when you feel like they're to a point that they tell you okay, I really like the idea of doing this, I really need to do this. When you get to the point that they realize that they need this and that this is really the best solution for them, then the price doesn't matter anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if it does matter, it doesn't matter in the long term. It just matters in the short term because they have to save up. Okay, so pretty much if they ask about price first, ask questions. Just ask questions, get to know them better, let them know that you really do care more about things than making a sale. Because when you respond back right away with the price and lots of information, then that kind of just makes them feel a little dehumanized, I guess. Which I totally have done this before, I promise. Okay. Strategies for inviting. So base your invites and your seeds that you plant off of posts. Your posts that you're doing daily, and have specific strategic posts at least 3 times a week, like transformation, flashback, or throwbacks, and then a business opportunity post on Sunday night, because that's usually when people are going back to work. But get get those posts out there, and then you have something to start messaging people about every single like day or so of the week, which, you know, lets you have new conversations. It lets you have new eyes on your stuff, as long as you're, you know, liking and commenting on other people's things. So post on social media, post strategically, and then use those posts to go back to likers and commenters and just say thanks for the love on your post. Start relationships if you've never talked to that person, or like on Instagram, like I feel like it's never a bad idea to just jump right to the, hey, are you on a help journey too? Or would you like to join my group? Because sometimes they're like, sure, like you seem totally like legit. What's the information? And then that's where you ask more questions. Tiffany, we're talking about strategies for inviting now. Just kind of like talking about different ways you can invite. The first thing was the posting thing. That sets up an invite, and it can make it really easy to have an invite go from like, here's a conversation to, would you like to do my group? I have it coming up now. So another way to invite is, like I said in my big long live video on Facebook, is that if you have something every week that you can invite to, it makes inviting a lot easier to do, because then you can talk about that the week before. So like all of last week, I was talking about starting the Ultimate Reset. I was talking about my challenge group coming up. And then it wasn't totally weird for me to say, hey, I'm not really sure if you've seen it on Facebook or Instagram, but I was wondering if you would be interested in learning more. Don't say like in joining, just say like more interested in learning more about my challenge group that I have starting on this date. I would love to have you be a part of the group because XYZ. Just something simple. And so one of the ways to make that kind of an invite really simple is you can either have a short little like snippet that you can use that says like, totally not sure if this is something that you'd be interested in, but I feel like I've seen some of your posts and you like seem to really value living healthy. So I thought of you. Would you be interested in learning more about this group that I have coming up? We're starting this day. It's a support system. You have, you know, fitness, nutrition. Would you be interested, or do you know anyone who would be interested in something like this? Then you can give them an out at the end. Say it's totally okay if you're not. I just wanted to ask because this has helped me so much with XYZ. So that's just a simple, short invite. And if you do something invite-wise where you say like, hey, I was just thinking about you because of this. I was wondering if you'd like to do this group or this sneak peek or, you know, whatever. Give them a little bit of information about what the group is, and then follow up with like, it's totally okay if it's not something that you're interested in. If you know anyone else that might benefit from it, I would totally love to talk to them, or, you know, things like that. They might just say no right off the bat. They might say, no, I'm not really interested in that. Thanks for, you know, all of your inspiring posts, whatever. But they might say they're interested, and then you have a conversation going. So when I do invites especially this last week, I've been trying to do voice message invites because, and I think I talked about this on the video on Facebook, but when I do a Facebook message invite, I can make it general, and I can say like what I just said out loud, except for fill in the blanks. And I can hit, I'm going to see if I can show you guys. Come on, work with me here. Okay, it is going to work. Okay, so for instance, come on. Okay, so I can't see it right now, but usually over here next to the voice message, there's going to be like a little box. And the little box, it's like a digital U and then like a cross up through it. It means download. If you hit it, then you have all of these right here. You can just hit send, 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 send. And you can send that generic invite to 40 people in 2 minutes, which makes it much more effective. They hear your voice, which is a lot more personal. And those are just a bunch of, you write their names down on a list, and then you follow up with them a few days later. Hey, did you listen to my voice message? Totally okay if it's not something for you, but I just wanted to make sure the voice message worked. That's something you can do with the app on your Messenger phone. With Instagram, for the most part, I'm just going off of my posts and messaging my consistent likers. Trying to think other ways I invite. Yeah, for the most part, really, if you can start a conversation off because they've either liked a post of yours or you've seen a post of theirs about their own health and fitness journey or a recipe they tried, if you can start it off geared towards health and fitness and health and wellness, then the conversation can move a lot more easily into an invite. But it doesn't always, sorry, I'm like recording and let's make everybody dizzy. It doesn't always move right away into an invite. And so there's like a balance. I feel like there's a balance between the idea of going for no, where you invite like a boss and you just like put aside all personal feelings and you just say like, hey, I know this opportunity could help you. Would you like to learn more about it? Yes, no, maybe so. They might say no. They might say no like 20 million times. But the point is that you're planting a seed. So go for no means you're inviting like anyone and everyone, and it might be totally random. That works. It will work over time to do that. But the book that I want you guys reading this month called Go Giver, or listening to, is something that basically talks about how, like, when you're having that conversation with them, you're seeking just to help. You're not necessarily like, once they've answered back and said that they're interested, they become a person. They're not a prospect. They're not like someone on your hit list or something like that. You have to think of them as like, okay, you're a person I want to help, or this is I used to have them in my TeamZ, like in my tracking thing. I would label everyone who was potentially interested in a challenge group as like a challenger potential or something like that. It was like really like not personal at all. And so like subconsciously I would think about them that way. And when I changed the title for this tag to be people I want to help. And so every time I go to talk to someone like that, I see this tag that says, this is a person you want to help. It's not a person you want to sell to. Ultimately, if they don't buy anything and I'm able to help them because they just feel a little happier every day because I sent them a message like twice a week, or they did one of my clean eating groups and they're like doing their own thing now and they're really successful with their own healthy lifestyle and they just look to me for inspiration, motivation. Like ultimately, it doesn't matter to me if they really do the Beachbody stuff, because they'll either send someone over that they know to do it with me who they think would, benefit from it, or they'll like join and do it someday anyway. What was I going to say? Oh, okay. So the Go Giver kind of mindset pretty much means that you're going into like a conversation and you're going in it with a mind that you want to just help. You want to give them something in return. So when they're answering these questions and like they tell you, you say, what does your nutrition look like every day? And they say, well, I don't eat breakfast. I have my kids' snacks whenever they have snacks. I sometimes have lunch, but it's usually just fast food. And for dinner, I don't know, like pop something in the oven from the freezer, things like that. From there, my response isn't going to be like, oh my gosh, your nutrition is horrible. Like, obviously they know it's horrible. My response would be something along the lines of like, well, this is something you could try, and give them like an outline of food they could try for a day and see how like it spaces out, and just like tell them this is about how much food you really should be eating in a day, and show them how simple it can be. So that's adding value. That's giving them something in return. Because when you give them those little things, or you say, hey, I have a recipe that I can share with you that I saw that maybe you'd really like. My family loves it. I know you have kids. Like, I know kids are picky, so maybe try this. My kids loved it. That makes it a lot easier for them to like come back to you and just say, okay, I really do want to learn more about this. Can you tell me more? That kind of a thing. Because they might, even after they like Tanya, even after they like stop talking and they just completely shut you down, or, you don't get a reply back, then message them again and just say, hey, I know that was a lot of information. I'm sorry if it overwhelmed you. We totally don't have to talk about this right now. And then find something that you can offer of value to them, like whether it's just a compliment or a recipe, or like, this is the 30-day squat and plank challenge that I did for the first time when I couldn't afford to do this kind of thing either. You know what I mean? Like, give them something that they can use right now, because maybe they just don't feel like it's possible for them right now to do like a Beachbody program. Okay. I feel like that kind of covers it for the most part. Oh, okay. Everyone who says no. Keeping track of like people who say no is important. So like I have sticky notes because I just can't do it any other way. I can't keep track of it in any other ways. I'm lame. But I have sticky notes that say, it's probably backwards. Is it backwards? Yeah. The sticky notes just say like February people who want help. These are the people who said yes or who said that they're interested. And February no's. And so every time somebody tells me no, I'm writing their name down on this sticky note. And I've been doing this for a couple months now. And then at the end of the month when I do my free group, those are all the people who said no. I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm doing a free group right now. This is what it's going to cover. We're going to do a 30-day trial of BOD. Would you be interested in doing this or joining in with us? It's totally free. No obligation to do anything, but I just wanted to share this with you because I know that you had expressed some interest in my groups in the past. And then when they do the free group, they might just decide like, hey, I want to keep doing this. And that would be great. Or they might say, I need to wait a couple months, but I really do want to do this. They might just say, no, this isn't for me, and that's okay. The biggest thing like to think about, I guess, when you're getting no's is that just because they say no doesn't mean that it's a for sure no, for one. And even if it is a for sure no and they're never, ever, ever, ever in the history of ever going to try a Beachbody product or program or try Shakeology, you can still benefit from like people that they might know who they'll refer to you, or you just tell yourself like, okay, next. You know what I mean? Like that's something doctors get really good at, and in Go for No it talks about this a lot. But when you have a mentality that it's not a personal thing, it just means that they're not ready. Like you move on, and you can like go back every now and then and like a comment, comment, add value to their life a little bit, invite them to a free group once in a while. But you don't have to follow them everywhere and be like, hey, you should do this with me. Come on. Because that's a waste of your time, and it's going to just kind of be bothersome to them. It's not a bad idea to follow up with them every once in a while and say, hey, just wanted to check in. I know the timing wasn't right last time. Is the timing better now? Would you like to try a group? Something like that. But just know that like you don't have to keep tugging along and like always inviting that person. I like have done that a lot, and I'm trying to be better about not consciously like, oh, I've been inviting the same person like all week. I've invited this person to like 5 different things all week, because then that makes them feel really like, okay, I'm just tired of talking to this person. Every time I talk to them, they're inviting me to something. So, just trying to change the conversation, or liking one of their pictures and asking a question about it, or just completely like leaving them alone. Like it's totally fine. It doesn't really matter what you do, but just know that if they say no and they totally like stop talking to you, it's not because you're not a good person. It's because they're not ready. Okay. Did that make sense? Yep. I was just looking at my notes. Okay, so that's really like, I don't want to talk about a bazillion different things at once, but I feel like that's a pretty good start for this week. I do want to see if you guys are good to set I want everyone to set a goal for how many invites you want to do this week. And keep in mind the Go for No mindset, which means that for every 10 people you invite, 9 of them are going to say no. And that's okay. Because if you're going for no and you're trying to get as many people as you can to say no, like not that you're purposefully going like, oh my gosh, I should message the same people all over again because I know they're going to tell me no and it's just going to make them mad. Just like talking to more people and being willing to put yourself out there and talk to more people. If you've had a hard time inviting even once or twice a day, then shoot to invite 3 times a day. If you've had a lot of invitations, but you're feeling like they're not to enough types or enough different people or new people, then maybe set a goal for like you want to get 20 invites this week or 30. I know for me, my goal every week is at least 50. Sometimes I go for 100. It depends. My daily goal is 15 invites because that's the goal that I set for myself because of like my own, like my goals to be where I want to be at the end of the year. And I'm accountable to that because I'm in Josh Coates' Health Bet for Your Business thing where if I don't do that every day, at least 85% of the days of the month, I don't get my money back. So for me, that's been a really motivating factor is just to have like 4 daily activities that I'm doing. And that's literally be a product of the product, talk to new people, invite, and do my personal development. Like that's it. If you can just do those 4 things every single day, then over time, like you are going to see results, but you can't be talking to the same people all the time. You have to be talking to new people. You can't be inviting the same people all the time. You have to be inviting new people. So if you set a goal to invite 3 people a day, great. That's 3 people that, you know, maybe you've never invited before or you haven't talked to in a really long time because you just they've like dropped off the planet and you didn't really know what to do about it. Like the focus of the conversation after an invite doesn't have to stay on Beachbody. You can move on and talk about other things because the more you talk about other things, the more they feel like you're, you know, relatable. And that's what we want ultimately, like, because I don't know, like when I think about when I first started as a coach, like my mindset was mostly I want to like help enough people every month so that I can get my Shakeology for free, for one. But ultimately, if I didn't do more than impact like one person's life for the better, then that would be enough. Like if Tiffany, if you were the only person that I ever inspired to live a healthy lifestyle and stick with it, then I would still be able to like wake up tomorrow and be like, okay, I did what I needed to do because I helped someone literally change their life. Or, you know, same thing for you, Tanya. Like if you were literally the only 2 people that I ever helped in the history of ever, then that would still be valuable to me. Like, you know, Tiffany, this is going to sound more familiar to you, but you know, in Doctrine and Covenants, I believe that's what it is. Anyway, Tanya, in our faith, the LDS faith, there's a scripture that basically talks about like, if you bring 1 soul to God, your joy is going to be just as great as if you brought 500 souls or, you know, something like that. If you were able to help inspire someone to be, you know, have God in their life or something like that, you know, same thing for this business. If you can help one person just believe in themselves a little bit more, then ultimately it's worth it. So try not to get stuck on the numbers and things like that. I don't remember if I gave you guys these yet. Where is it? All right, it disappeared. Oh, it's over there. So I have a list. I made a couple lists. One of them is a list of positive affirmations, and I can email these. I think I have it in an email to send to all of the challengers for February, and you guys are all in it. But it's a list of positive affirmations that are applicable to anything. They're not like business related. They're just literally like ways to talk to yourself positively. I also wrote down some of my own positive affirmations, like things like I am a 2-star diamond or I am a 15-star elite coach or things like that. Because those are my goals. Those are like a short-term and a long-term goal that I want to be living as. But I also have a list. I wrote down like a list that I can look at every now and then when I'm feeling frustrated. And it's the list of people who I've already helped. Like the list of people whose lives have changed, whether it was with a fitness program or just talking with them more. So I would just encourage you guys to set a goal for how many people you guys want to invite this week, and do some positive affirmations with your personal development. And if you're feeling like doubtful that you're a good coach, or you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like I suck at this, go write down a list of the people that you've helped. Just in some way, in some small way, like just spout it off like as fast as you can and write it down as you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram. If you see someone and you know like that they rely on you for positivity or something like that, write their name down, because going back and looking at those people will help positively reinforce the fact that you're a good person, you're doing great things. You don't, like, your value as a coach doesn't rely on you being successful monetarily, like right now. You know what I mean? Okay, so I need to stop talking or I'm going to lose my voice. So I'm going to stop the recording. Okay, stop recording.